What is crack-lacking, fellow thermonuclear AFers? I am Dan Favale coming at you with a super brief intro. Grant and I are going to talk about trades for some of the most disappointing teams in the league thus far, and then we'll do some more good old stat padding. That'll be this episode. We'll get into more of, I know the Cavs are dealing with injuries to Garland and Mobley. The Suns just found out that Bradley Beal's going to miss a few weeks with an ankle injury. We'll dive into more of that stuff. I think you guys are going to get 4 full episodes this week. So, I mean, you're welcome in advance, or I'm sorry. I don't really know which one to say about that. So we will get into more of those details. We won't ignore them, but we recorded this episode already. It's still pretty evergreen. And so we will dive deeper into the Suns, the Cavs, other teams, some of the little more topical stuff later this week. Until then, though, enjoy this conversation about trades and just a bunch of fun stat padding questions with the certified fantabulous Mr. Grant Hughes and I. What is crack-a-lackin', fellow thermonuclear AFers? I am Dan Favale coming at you with my certified fantabulous thermonuclear AF co-host, Mr. Grant Hughes. We're keeping in theme with trade season being up and running, and so we figured we'd do something that was a little bit evergreen unless any of these players get moved. I'm going to propose some deals to Grant, hypothetical trades that involve the most disappointing teams this season that have either just been worse than expected, missing expectations completely. And we're going to see if he likes them, whether he would do them. They include a whole bunch of teams. They range from the really bad teams to, are we trying to fix teams that are trying to make themselves contenders? They run the gamut. And there is 5 of them, maybe with some bonus ones caked in. But first, please remember to subscribe wherever you consume us. YouTube, hit the sub button, like, comment on our videos. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, wherever you get your podcasts. Please leave ratings and reviews. 5-star ratings on Spotify and Apple, and reviews on Apple. Those all help a ton. Tell people about us if you've done all those things. Join our Discord. The link to that is in the podcast and YouTube descriptions. Follow us on the socials. Those are on your screen or the podcast descriptions. Check out our merch. That is in the podcast and YouTube description. And yes, again, thank you all for all that you do to help us continue to build this community, and the word of mouth recommendations, if you give them, they mean a lot to us as well. Grant, how the heck are you doing?
Dan, I'm doing great. I'm mostly really excited that you came up with all the trades, because I think, as I've said on here, and as you know personally, I hate making up trades. I'm bad at it. So you're good at it, and I will embrace. I'm not going to just dump on all these trades and say no one would do them, which is why I'm bad at making up trades, because I can never convince myself that both teams would do it. So I'm excited.
Now, since we're framing it as disappointing teams, I know a lot of people have been upset about Milwaukee's defense. They're just too good for me to be disappointed, so they are not here. And I also do not have a Clippers subsequent trade because they've been a lot better over their past 10 to 12 games or so. So keep that in mind. And some of these trades includes multiple disappointing teams. It's not just one headliner. So
they're just helping each other out, right?
Let's
just trade our problems with one another. We're both disappointing teams. You take some of mine, I'll take some of yours.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So are you ready for trade number 1?
Yes.
We are going to travel to Memphis for this one, and Chicago.
Okay.
Grant Hughes, who says no? The Memphis Grizzlies receive Andre Drummond. The Chicago Bulls receive John Conchar, a 2026 second round pick, and a 2030 second round pick.
I guess I think I like that most for the Grizzlies, because we've talked before about how just another, paint protecting, just getting some size in there at center would be helpful. So I guess if I like it for the Grizzlies, it's the Bulls that are saying no, but I kind of like getting Conchar and some, why wouldn't you get rid of Drummond if you're going to well, maybe the answer is the Bulls are not going to tear it down, but if you're going to tear it down, why not just get a couple picks back? And Conchar is has been a rotation player. I think I like it for both, but if someone's saying no, I guess it's the Bulls, because they're irrational and they won't operate this way.
There's also if you're the Bulls, John Conchar is about to start a 3-year, $19 million extension next year. Do you think he's good enough to warrant that? You could certainly use the idea of his shooting. If you're going to actually go into a rebuild, why not get 2 second-round picks, though, for Andre Drummond, who's just going to be a free agent after this season?
Yeah, that's not a big number at all, really. But, Conchar shot 41.3% 2 years ago from 3, and he's in the 33s the last 2 years. So maybe for the Bulls, you're I'm not sure what he's given us that, several other guys on the roster aren't, but again, just if you're the Bulls, and again, if you are the Bulls, you're probably not thinking this way. What you said 2 seconds, right?
Yeah, it's a
Coming from
20. So the
Memphis?
26 second rounder is not Memphis's own.
Uh-huh.
It is coming from it was Boston, Indiana, the Clippers, or Miami.
Okay. So, I mean, still, you're getting a couple draft assets. Like Drummond is not part of the, I don't know what, he's not part of the Bulls like big picture plan if there is one. So, like, why
He
not get a
could
couple
definitely be
picks?
part of Memphis's bigger plan. Just what does Steven Adams look like when he comes back next year? He's the final year left on his contract. For Memphis, though, I also viewed this as, yeah, this season you don't have Steven Adams, you don't have Brandon Clark. Andre Drummond helps there, especially on the offensive glass. But get out of John Contrar's contract.
Yeah.
That's why it's worth to dump 2 second round picks.
Right. You're trimming the salary of, I don't know, you could give somebody like, I mean, it's like pretty well short of mid-level money, but taxpayer exception money is not that far off of that. So.
Okay, this was the least spicy trade of the 5. I wanted to weed out the people who aren't going to sit through the entire podcast. Trade number 2, we have the Bulls again, joined by a fellow disappointing team in the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
Now, I don't necessarily endorse this direction by the Raptors, but if they decided, hey, we don't want to rebuild, we want to keep Scotty Barnes and win right now, this is the deal. The Chicago Bulls receive Precious Achiuwa, Chris Boucher, Grady Dick, Gary Trent Jr., a 2026 first round pick, loosely protected, let's say top 8. It would have to convey immediately. So let's even say you could say unprotected. And then a 2028 first round pick with top 8 protections. The Raptors receive Zach LaVine and Terry Taylor to just help the money and the roster spot crunch work. So to recap, the Bulls get Achiuwa expiring. Chris Boucher, I think, has another year left on his deal after this one. Grady Dick, Gary Trent Jr. expiring. 2 first round picks, 1 in 26 and 1 in 28, both coming from Toronto for Zach LaVine, basically.
I think if I'm the Bulls, I'm not sure I can do better pick wise. Like maybe someone out there is going to give me 3 firsts, but maybe not for LaVine. I mean, like, I just don't know.
You could also look at it as, does Grady Dick still count as a first round
right?
pick?
Yeah. And I mean, like Trent is, well, he's going to be a free agent. So you might just,
he has not been good this year.
Yeah. And you might just not, you don't have any control really over him going forward. So it's just, it really is like, does clearing money, getting Grady Dick and 2 firsts, is that the best I can do for LaVine? Because I think that's the side that I have questions about. If you are Toronto and you're going to keep the gang together, I think LaVine makes sense as just someone that's going to make threes and be an offensive creator, and that you can hide with any of your like 3 awesome defensive wings / forwards. So yeah, that's a good, I don't know. I guess if it's a who says no, I think it's maybe Chicago. Just
really interesting.
on the thinking that they might be able to get, like, I guess it's hard for me to believe that that's the best offer. It's a good offer, but I wonder if you might be able to get 3 firsts.
I will say, so you just prefer the mystery box idea of give me 3 outright firsts rather than Grady Dick and 2 firsts. This is also, I look at this package, the flyer on Achiuwa, maybe he rebounds there, but just like Chris Boucher could play for you.
Yeah.
Gary Trent Jr. could play for you. Grady Dick could play for you, and you get 2 firsts. If this is the Bulls thinking we might be better off with Zach LaVine, we deepen our rotation, and now we have assets and an expiring contract in Gary Trent Jr. who can't be reaggregated at that point, but we can go out and make another dumbass move if we want to.
Yeah, right. So do you like it less from Toronto's side? Because I guess like
I do, because Zach LaVine is 3 years and 143 million left on his deal. I'm fine with that money in a vacuum, but you this summer have to pay Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Jakob Poeltl's on the books for about 20 million a pop, and Scotty Barnes is going to be extension eligible this summer.
Yeah, because you're saying if you do that, you're saying we got to keep all these other guys, and then you're also saying LaVine is the piece that justifies us being capped out and like suddenly kind of asset poor, and he's putting us over the top. So as I speak it out that way, I think I like it less for Toronto, because I think that is the incorrect assumption on a Zach LaVine acquisition to this roster, which would be that that's the last piece, right? This is not a last piece team, and LaVine is not that guy.
And I'm very intrigued by the foursome though of Siakam, LaVine, Scotty Barnes, and OG Anunoby, who I think LaVine doesn't need to dominate the ball enough so that there's not too much of a tug of war between him, Siakam, and Barnes.
Yeah.
I will say, who's the fifth you're most excited about? Because low key, I think the Jakob Poeltl trade is going to go down as like one of the worst trades over the past half decade or decade.
Inexplicable.
Yeah.
Just like, I just don't, yeah, wild. But yeah, so I guess in that hypothetical, your starting and closing five is Levine, Barnes, Anunoby, Siakam, Poeltl. So you don't have a point guard out there. Really.
Which is,
I mean,
I guess with Scotty Barnes, Siakam, and Levine, do you need? I mean, you still have Dennis Schroeder. Look, I would close with Dennis Schroeder before I close with Jakob Poeltl.
Sure.
If you want
Yeah,
to be honest.
no, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I wonder if, because so much of the issue with Toronto for so long has been the half court offense, and just like Anunoby is not an intuitive passer. Siakam really isn't either. Actually, Levine has gotten assists, but Levine is not a like sees the play two passes away type of guy. He's more of just like, I got into the middle and I can make the easy read. I wonder if that team still has, even though Levine is like a massive scoring upgrade, I wonder if that Toronto team is still going to be one that like the half court stuff just is real clunky. And like, there's just a lot of really like, it's elementary offense, but it's not going to be, dynamic enough to do anything.
If push came to shove, I'd probably say no if I was Toronto, but I would so want to see the final product if they did make the trade.
Right. It would be a good test of the theory of like, what if we just throw like an absolute bucket into this group and see what happens? Right. Yeah, it is. It's definitely an interesting trade. But yeah, do you think? I guess this is germane to the discussion. Like, do you think the Bulls can get 3 firsts for Levine? I maybe have asked you this directly before, but I feel like the market changes all the time.
So the right foot injury is big, and he was not playing well this season beforehand. Does a change of scenery help? And I'm going to throw the 3-point clip out the window. He's been one of the most dangerous off the dribble and catch and shoot 3-point marksmen in the league for some time. He also gives them an element of, if you open the floor enough, like he can still give you some rim pressure, and you have the defensive ecosystem to insulate him if you're going to play OG, Barnes, Siakam. Maybe you're still worried about like with Poeltl being in that. I mean, like you can then play Poeltl with Siakam and Barnes and not have to worry about the requisite floor spacing as much. So I like the idea of Levine in Toronto. It just feels like a notch too far. If you told me there was a way for them to work it without including Grady Dick, because you have to give up the 2 firsts. Otherwise it's a non-starter.
Yeah,
if you can replace some of the Grady Dick salary and Chicago says, no, we'll just take the 2 first-round picks and another salary filler, that might, make it even more intriguing from their perspective.
Yeah. That's interesting. What else you got?
Trade number 3. I don't know if both of these teams are disappointing because it involves the Wizards, and it's kind of like, what were you expecting from the Wizards this year? I will say it's been they're not, I know a lot of people find them funny, but they're not really entertaining to watch. And I was expecting them to be more entertaining. And I love Bilal Coulibaly. Kuzma's having a good year. Corey Kisper's having a good year. So let's say they're disappointing. This team is disappointing. The San Antonio Spurs are disappointing as hell, in part because of their lineup decisions, and I am forcing them to change that right here. Okay. The Washington Wizards receive Devontae Graham, who is owed $2 million as guaranteed next year. So he's basically an expiring contract. Washington will also get Charlotte's 2024 first-round pick. Now, that pick is lottery protected this year and next year, and then it turns into 26 and 27 seconds if it doesn't convey. So for all intents and purposes, you're saying you're getting Charlotte's 26 and 27 seconds.
Right. I was just going to say that. I don't think that pick's going anywhere.
So Devontae Graham, that pick or those picks, plus a 2025 second rounder from Chicago. Okay. So just keep in mind how bad these two teams are, Charlotte and Chicago. Mm-hmm. You send Tyus Jones to San Antonio. So if we wanted to call this the bare bottoms offer, it would be Devontae Graham plus 2 Charlotte seconds and a Chicago Bulls second for Tyus Jones. Do you think that they would, very quick before you respond, do you think San Antonio would bring both Tyus and Trey off the bench in that scenario?
Yeah, they'd go find a third brother if he's out there and also bring him off the bench if they could. Refuse to start him. You guys never run with the ones at practice. You are back. Yeah. I love it for the Spurs. I mean, I just, who cares about a bunch of seconds from their perspective? And they don't play.
You're going to get a first for Tyus? He's in a contract year.
If you're
more than quarter of the season's already gone.
I don't think the Spurs are in a position to be trading their own first under any circumstances. So the question is, do the Wizards value the salary relief enough
They're not
to?
getting, well, they're not even getting salary relief. It's basically, it amounts to the same amount of money in totality, because what Tyus Jones makes this year is Devontae Graham plus Devontae Graham's $2 million guarantee next year.
Okay.
So you're doing this for, and you could view it this way. So Charlotte's not, they're going to be a lottery team this year. Is there a chance that by adding a lottery pick to a core of LaMelo, PJ Washington, Mark Williams, Brandon Miller, that they are not a lottery team next year? There is an outside chance of, who would you trust to convey a lottery protected pick in 2025 more, the Pistons or the Hornets?
Oh, well, I mean, the question is like, who's going to be better?
Your brain looked like it's your.
Well, I was trying to think what does conveying a lottery pick mean? That means you're not in the lottery anymore. I mean, the answer is probably the Hornets, but like, I don't know that adding a lottery pick actually increases your odds of not picking in the lottery the next year, because that guy's probably not going to be a value add as a rookie. But like, it's just, is LaMelo healthy? And then do they have enough guys around him? Charlotte's got a little more upside, I think, than Detroit does, at least in the near term, which feels, we got to talk about.
I love so many of Toronto's players individually, just not with each other.
Detroit, you mean, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's exactly what I was thinking. Is like, well, I love Thompson, and like, I still think Cade Cunningham might not be a superstar, but he's going to be good. And I like Jaden Ivey still, and Jalen. Yeah, right. Exactly. I think if the question is who says no, that is the question. I guess it's Washington, just because I like it so much for the Spurs. Just because.
Do you think it's enough to at least say, like, this is a legitimate trade proposal?
I think it's pretty close. I guess I'm just bumping on, like, does Washington think it might get like a more real first for Jones from somebody else at some point?
I mean, you could also, if you're the Spurs, throw in Blake Wesley.
Sure. Yeah.
Take this demon who doesn't play.
He's not playing. That's right. Yeah. I think if I'm the Spurs, I'm happy to throw in like several sweeteners, I think, just because Tyus Jones is,
my whole thing is, they might just not want a point guard at this point. So are they inclined to?
They're certainly operating like
not even eating up minutes, and he's on the roster too.
Right. They're operating like a team that does not want a point guard. If I'm running the Spurs, I'm saying Tyus Jones is exactly like the knock-on effect of having Tyus Jones there. And look, we're not saying like you don't need 2008 Chris Paul. Like, you just need someone that's going to run the offense and not turn it over. And then like everything gets easier for Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson and Wemby. And it's like everybody, everyone benefits from like a high-end backup point guard, which is what Tyus Jones is. So yeah, I want Tyus Jones if I'm the Spurs. I think it's pretty close from Washington's side, because like, what are they going to do with Tyus Jones unless someone's offering a real first?
I do think the only way they get a significantly better offer is if it's attached to really bad money. So where Devontae Graham functionally is basically an expiring contract.
Yeah, he's not bad money, right? That's a good point.
Trade number 4, your backyard, the Golden State Warriors. Well, I would call them disappointing, right?
A little bit.
Guess who else is involved? Those pesky Toronto Raptors, also disappointing. How's this for some disappointing team overlap?
It's just a lot right now, Dan. The Warriors are really putting me through it. I imagine you're looking at scores right now, or I've seen them, and I don't want to know because I will watch the Warriors game later against the Clippers.
Yeah, I'm not even looking at the score, but that's masochism.
I don't want to try to read your face.
So the Golden State Warriors receive Pascal Siakam. The Raptors receive Jonathan Kuminga, Chris Paul, a 2026 first, top 5 protection that immediately expires and turns into seconds if not conveyed, and then a 2028 first round pick, excuse me. So 2 first round picks. The 2028 one is top 8 protected through 2029, then it becomes 2 seconds. So Kuminga, who is extension eligible after this year, by the way. Chris Paul, basically an expiring contract. And then 2 first round picks, the most loosely protected of which is top 5 for Pascal Siakam. And so I will give you my reasoning here very quickly. Is we've mentioned already that I think the Warriors need a star. They need someone who could generate his own shot if Chris Paul is going out. You do have other money to work with here, but I don't think that they're going to give up Klay Thompson, and that 40 plus million is a huge number. I don't think they're going to trade Draymond Green. And if you're making a win now trade, I think keeping Draymond's important. Wiggins' money is interesting. That being said, if you're getting rid of Kuminga and you're not bringing back another super athletic wing type player, and Kuminga's not really a wing, but you need Andrew Wiggins on the roster still, is my point. It'd be different if this trade was for OG Anunoby, but even in that scenario, I'm like, if Kuminga's going out, like you still kind of need Wiggins there. So that's why Chris Paul's involved in this deal rather than trying to build it around Andrew Wiggins' salary, in case you were curious.
Can you build it around Andrew Wiggins? I'm a lot more comfortable with that at this point. It's a lot harder.
Here's the issue is that the Warriors, I think, will view Andrew Wiggins as an asset going out. But if you are the Raptors, you're looking at Andrew, and I know we all said the deal is probably still fine, but we all kind of said, oh, he signed for so cheap when he did it. Are you, as another team, or even, I guess even not as another team, as the Raptors, viewing the 2 years and what is it, 60 million-ish left?
Yeah, he's
2 years. No, it's 3 years and 85.
Yeah, he's got a player option for 30 in 26-27. So, yeah. I mean, no, you cannot make the argument that Andrew Wiggins is on a positive value contract today, right now, with the way he's playing. Like, that is not, that could change in a month, but it's not the case right now. So
here would be my question, though. Just let's say the Raptors would do it for Wiggins because they believe they could reboot his, like, oh, Andrew Wiggins and OG Anunoby on the same team, like that could work, and Scotty Barnes, like there's. Are you then okay with, we got rid of Kuminga, we got Andrew Wiggins, and now like who's our wing is Klay Thompson?
Well, that's the thing. I want to keep Kuminga out of the deal if I'm getting Wiggins in there, which is like, then I don't know why Toronto's doing that.
So you basically are just trying to construct the most lopsided trade in favor of the Warriors.
No, I mean, like, trade Paul, trade Wiggins. I mean, I think those
would you rather give up, like, if it let you keep Kuminga, would you rather give up Moody? I'd rather have Moody if I'm Golden State.
I think I'd rather have Kuminga. I think this is
your Jordan Poole over SGA take all over.
This is such prisoner of the moment thinking, but like, he has played the best he's played the last week or two.
I thought you were going to end there. He has played.
He has played on the court in basketball games. I think the upside, Kuminga's upside, is still just higher than Moody's. This is one of the weird things that's been true throughout there, because they're very much linked, Kuminga and Moody. But like, it has always been true that like most nights Moody is the steadier, like more reliable contributor who is like, that guy's a rotation wing. Like, he just is like, but the ceiling for Moody is not there. Kuminga is the one that like comes in and within 30 seconds has committed a foul and a turnover and like stepped out of bounds, or, like, but then has 20 points on 11 shots and overpowers like centers at the, like, Kuminga's ceiling is still, that's what I'm interested in. That's what the Raptors should be interested in, by the way. So like, I understand why you want him in the deal. I don't know who says no there. I guess the Warriors giving up Kuminga and 2 firsts, really, because Paul's money is just what it is, for Siakam, who you then probably have to pay $40 million a year on his next deal.
You have to keep him. So you're making this deal. And that's the argument to, can you get away with giving less, would be, well, he's about to be a free agent. The problem with the way the Warriors are built, they just can't give up. They're only built for this mega trade. And unless the Raptors the Raptors need to say yes to this, and then you need to have the gall to do it, is, you know what? We'll give you Pascal Siakam. We'll give you Chris Boucher. Nice little reunion there with the Warriors. And then it's Klay Thompson and picks. And that is like the most convenient framework for the Warriors.
Yeah.
Because Siakam's going towards free agency, and the Raptors cost themselves, I don't care where he lands up, they probably ended up costing themselves value on Siakam by not moving him sooner because of the uneven season he's at. Yeah. So now, if the Raptors are willing to do that, like if you're the Warriors and they actually come back and said that it's Klay and 2 firsts for Siakam, there's other money involved, but if that's the framework, you should, I understand the emotional component of it. Right. I honestly don't know. I can sit here and say I would do it. If I was running the Warriors, I don't know if I could do it. But would you do that if you're the Warriors?
In a vacuum, you absolutely do that, because Klay Thompson's money is what it is. And he's just, I mean, Wiggins has probably been worse, but Thompson, like, in terms of value, like, you're paying this guy significantly more. And like, he's older, and Wiggins could just be better tomorrow, because Wiggins is still young enough to where he might just turn it around. Thompson's like, the arrow is going one way on that guy. But like, I just don't think they're going to trade Klay Thompson. I don't know. I just can't see it. Because I think You should. If it were just a coldly, calculated decision, like of course you would do that. Like that's not even a debate, I don't think, right? Like, is there any rational argument other than like sentiment and we owe it to him, which are like compelling, and that's what's going to motivate the Warriors to not probably ever trade Klay Thompson. But like, there's not a logical reason to not trade Klay Thompson.
This exact deal, who says no?
The Klay Thompson one, or your Kuminga?
No, the one that I proposed to you. I apologize if you answered like definitively.
No, I've of course I didn't answer. I've been hemming and hawing and like trying to work my head around it. I think the Warriors say no.
Okay.
I don't know if they should say no.
Okay.
Just because if you're the Raptors, you're like, we either are going to lose Siakam for nothing or have to pay him a whole bunch. I'd rather have all this other stuff. I think that's the rationale from that side.
What's interesting is I'm just curious. I think I agree with you. I'm just curious if this version of the front office, because I know Kirk Lacob and Mike Dunleavy were around, are they just, not that they're less married to the core, but are they prepared to do something bolder to leave what they believe is their stamp on this team?
I think maybe a little bit, but I also think the constant is still Steph Curry is like this most singularly powerful voice in the organization. And if there's no scenario where you pull off any significant trade without at least like saying something to him about it. And like, if it's Klay or if it's Draymond, it's probably a non-starter. And like, I think while the management's decision makers in management have changed, I think it's still like this team is just beholden to Steph. And maybe in some ways that's an argument to like, you got to make this trade because you owe him a roster that is not going to be 10-13 or whatever it is after tonight's game. But that's, so I guess my roundabout answer is like, not as much has changed in terms of the team's like decision-making hierarchy and thinking as it might seem with a new GM in place.
Okay. Final trade. I do have a bonus one, but final trade. And this one is, I actually like it. Don't let that impact your thinking, but here we go. Get ready. You're going to fall off your chair when you see this.
Do you not like your other trades? I think you should like all your trades. Don't.
I hate you know me. I hate everything I do. I think I suck. My imposter syndrome is everyone's got it. Mine is the dial's always turned to 11.
That's your brand. I hate everything I do.
Trade 5. The Detroit Pistons receive Gordon Hayward.
Oh.
The Charlotte Hornets receive Joe Harris, Killian Hayes, and a 2024 second round pick. It will be the most favorable of Memphis or Washington. And so you could say that'll be a top 35 pick. So if it's Washington, it's going to be a top. I mean, maybe the Pistons will be worse than Washington, but other than that, it's going to be a top 33 pick.
You're getting a good second, a shot at Killian Hayes, and then Joe Harris for Hayward.
Correct.
I think I do that if I am. I think. Well, who can say what Detroit thinks or
look? If you can run out lineups where it's Cade, Gordon Hayward, Jalen Duren, and then it's like you don't want to put. I would say let's throw all our youngsters in there, but you could go Bojan Bogdanovic and then say play Asar Thompson. That's a legit 5. Or if you wanted to say in that instance, well, we'll play Jaden Ivey instead of Asar Thompson. Like the stuff you could do with Cade, Gordon Hayward, and Bojan Bogdanovic, and then have Asar Thompson and Jalen Duren or Jaden Ivey. You go super small if you wanted to and do Asar Thompson and Jaden Ivey. That is what caught me on this. Is I just think they need more players kind of like these smarter, plug and play, versatile guys like Gordon Hayward who do not shrink the floor.
But can I ask you like a highfalutin sounding question? To what end? Like why?
Well, here's the one end is
you're gonna Hayward expires.
Well, right, it expires. But my point being is, I think it optimizes the development of Cade and Asar Thompson by letting them play more space. And here's the bigger one: it removes technically 2, but really 1 guard from the rotation who could play in front of Jaden Ivey.
Yeah,
and so now it's we only really got to worry about a healthy Monte Morris, and then maybe Burks will eventually get moved, and now Jaden Ivey will see the floor even more.
And does Harris have 1 more year on his deal, or is he expiring?
No, he's expiring. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, he's expiring.
Yeah, right. You're right. He's expiring. So, yeah, I think that's a great argument because, which is basically like, let's get Killian Hayes out of the way. Like, let's take this this card out of Monty Williams's deck so he can't keep playing this guy. Yeah, that's probably the most compelling. The Hayward as someone who would benefit a lot of the young guys is also pretty compelling. Yeah, I like that for the Pistons. I also don't hate it for Charlotte, just because like again, I keep bringing this point up, but like maybe someone could offer you like a heavily protected first that might actually be a first for him, but I don't know that that's actually a realistic scenario. So getting a shot, like maybe Killian Hayes is someone that, change of scenery you wanted to get a look at as Charlotte. I don't think the Hayes LaMelo fit is like anything anyone's going to want, but I don't hate it as like let's just check it out. And then maybe Harris as a shooter has, a lot of what you're saying about Hayward could be applied to Harris if he just were healthy and making shots for the Pistons.
I was about to say even when he's been at least on the court, I don't know if he's been healthy. He's not making shots.
No, like 31%, I think, this year from three, or that's the last I looked. And he's also not. I mean, Hayward is actually like for his position, a good facilitator. Like he's someone that Harris is not going to. His spacing matters if he's hitting, but he's not going to generate high quality looks for a bunch of young guys the way Hayward might. Yeah, I kind of like that on both sides. You were correct to like that trade. I don't know who says no there.
Nice. And here's the final one that I was that was inspired by, I can't remember if I was talking with someone on Twitter. I apologize. I have so many I try to interact with listeners and followers. It was either on YouTube or it was on Twitter, I think. I don't think it was Discord. Let's talk about the Hawks and the Pelicans. I think the Hawks are disappointing here. Brandon Ingram and a first round pick. I think it would have to be like you have the Bucks 2027 pick, you have the Lakers pick this year or 2025. You have all your own firsts. But Brandon Ingram and a pick for DeJounte Murray, Jalen Johnson, and DeAndre Hunter. There might need to be another salary in there. This was such a loose idea. I started thinking about it and I was like, you do have to pay Brandon Ingram. But if you're the Hawks, you're so cheap. You have to pay Jalen Johnson already. You've already paid DeJounte Murray. You've paid DeAndre Hunter.
So let's break it down. That's really interesting. So let's say from the Pelican side, because Ingram's the best player in the deal, and you're also giving up a first. So he's
headed towards free agency?
Yeah,
or no? He has another year left on his deal. He could sign an extension after this year.
And then also all I ever talk about is how I don't like the Zion Ingram fit. So like I'm starting from that position of like, okay, I'm interested in any other kind of like supported cast. So does Murray, Jalen Johnson, and you said Hunter too?
Yes. Did we go a player? My gut was like, did we go a player too far?
Well, it's only insofar as like Hunter is kind of duplicative of, because you still got Trey Murphy, you still got Herb Jones, you still got Najee Marshall. I'm sure I'm forgetting someone else.
Dyson Daniels.
Yeah, he can play. He can play up, I guess. I don't know if do you need Hunter to make the money work? I mean, but yeah,
I think Ingram for Murray and Johnson would work. I worried about like, what does that do to Dyson Daniels? So I wondered like, would Daniels and Ingram for them, those three guys make even more sense? And then if you're the Pelicans, you get to keep your first round powder.
Man, I really kind of like it for the Pelicans, but we haven't really pivoted to what that does for the Hawks, because
now they did already trade away DeAndre Hunter. So like, I don't know if that factors into the equation.
Yeah. So is Murray, so then your backcourt, you're going, let's just work through it. It's CJ and Murray in the backcourt, and then it's Johnson and Zion. And
with Herb and Trey Murphy, like those are your top six guys.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
And then Hunter is still there if he's involved in the deal.
The Pelicans went from having too many guys to having like way too many guys. They're ripe for a consolidation trade. Then they're the team that should be making a consolidation trade, and they just did a 3-for-1.
Which is why it's tough. But I think I like the idea of DeJounte Murray in New Orleans, because I know that he's not the best shooter. But what's that?
What specifically do you like about it?
Because it gives you, he's more of a playmaker than, I know he's not like a natural playmaker, but he's more of a lead guard or facilitator than Brandon Ingram, than CJ McCollum, than Jose Alvarado.
Yeah.
And so I understand that Brandon Ingram is just the better scorer, but also DeJounte Murray's been one of the most efficient one-on-one scorers in the league this year. The Hawks can maybe generate more spacing than New Orleans, but New Orleans spacing after this and a bunch of their lineups could be wild.
Yeah.
There's more positional malleability here, it feels like, with Jalen Johnson being there. It was a thought exercise where I was like, if you're the Pelicans and you know that you're going to have to pay Trey Murphy, that you already paid Zion, that Brandon Ingram might be super max eligible if he made an all NBA team, but like knowing what Brandon Ingram's next contract could be as a 30% max, let's even say, the idea of breaking it up into players who DeJounte Murray's already been paid, and that extension is still good. DeAndre Hunter's already been paid. That extension is, I would say, market value to maybe a slight negative, slight positive. It could vacillate between the day. To Jalen Johnson, who still has another year on his rookie scale, is it just your point of, it's like too many heads? It just gives them so many ways. This is what drew me to it the most. I like DeJounte Murray more as a lead playmaker for the Pels, and then what he can do defensively than I do for Brandon Ingram.
In theory, which he hasn't done this year, but yeah, you're right.
Even this year, flat out. I like DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, if CJ McCollum is the guy you got to play better defense than as a lead guard.
No, I meant even Brandon Ingram. I trust DeJounte Murray more than Brandon Ingram.
Sure, yeah, sure.
Maybe that's a hot take. That could be, but
no. Ingram is like the most screenable human being on planet Earth. Like he's a tough guy to work on a defense.
Have you watched Trae Young?
Well, there's just more of Brandon Ingram. All the limbs, there's so many limbs that stretch for too far. You're going to catch a piece of him with a screen no matter where you are.
So my aside from the Murray intrigue was also, okay, this gives you ways to get to Zion as the only big lineups where he just will never, like, just between Herb, Jalen Johnson, and Dyson Daniels, he's still there. You just don't have to worry about him ever. He could be the only big, but he doesn't have to play that role on the defensive end ever.
Yeah.
And you can just insulate him like 360 degrees at that between Murray and Herb Jones and Trey Murphy and even Jalen Johnson, DeAndre Hunter. And Jalen Johnson, I do think might be a little overrated defensively, but he's very malleable. And he's also been a pretty good rim protector this year.
That's the thing. I was looking like, can you get away with Jalen Johnson at center? Like how much can you get away with? Like he's actually,
Zion decides to grab a defensive rebound. I think you'd be okay.
So the Hawks played, I was just looking it up because that was the question to me. So this basketball reference. So it's like, I think their positional designations are a little iffy. Cleaning the glass, I think sometimes is better, but this is what we have for the moment. 13% of Johnson's minutes as a rookie were at center. The rest were at power forward, but he's been at 1% and 2% at center. Part of that is the Hawks have Capella and Okongwu. So it's not like the situation where you play Johnson at center is, involves injuries to at least one person. So I don't think that forecloses the idea that he could play some center. If you could convince me that Johnson is like a viable center for 15, 20 minutes a night, like I'm pretty on board with that look. But what about the Hawks side? Because I don't know that Brandon Ingram makes any sense with Trae Young, because Ingram is better on the ball, doesn't like to shoot threes, likes to be kind of in the middle of the floor doing stuff. You're banking on Trae, either him changing his game or Trae doing a lot more off ball, running around type of stuff, which like is possible, but I don't know. I feel like this makes, maybe I'm just not high enough on Ingram, but I think if someone's saying no, it might be Atlanta, which is weird because they're getting the best player probably. Right.
I agree with you. I wonder if there would be a more workable framework if we said Jalen Johnson doesn't have to go to New Orleans, or if DeAndre Hunter doesn't have to go to New Orleans, because you could build different frameworks out that way. Yeah, it wasn't one I proposed. It was from, I was talking about it with someone, I can't remember who. And the fact that I still can't grasp it is interesting.
It's a brain tickler. Like I'm going to think about that one tomorrow at some point. I think it's like, do I like it for Atlanta? I don't know. I
get a text from Grant.
So Dan, let's talk about it. I think at first and second and third blush, since we've been talking about it for 10 minutes, I think that's a more interesting one for New Orleans than Atlanta. Like, right. I think that's where I land on it for now.
Stat padding time, and I'm actually going to ask, because I have this, can I go first so that I don't fuck this up? Because I did it so you know how busy I was. So I did it, and I'm not doing it from memory, but it's just it's in my mind right now, and I don't want to.
You must go first.
Okay. So Draymond Green or Steph Curry time.
Okay.
Draymond Green is currently averaging 1.58 ejections per season. Is that higher or lower than the number of steals per game Steph Curry is averaging for his career?
Ooh, that's right on the line, I bet. I'm going to say that is more steals per game than Curry is averaging for his career.
You're saying Draymond Green is averaging more ejections per year than Steph averages steals per game.
Yes.
That is incorrect. Steph is at 1.59 steals per game for his career. Draymond's at 1.58.
That's the most cold-blooded question you've ever asked me. All right. Good one, though.
Oh, we have, there's 2 more levels to it, though.
I'm ready.
So don't, he has, for his career, he has 20 flagrant fouls. Draymond Green has 20 flagrant fouls for his career. Is that more or less than the number of games Steph has in which he has hit 10 3-pointers?
Ooh,
Playoffs and regular season combined.
I think it is less.
That is correct. 20 flagrant fouls to 23 10 made threes games by Steph.
By the way, the only 20 flagrant fouls and 1.58 ejections per year both seem really low, just from my recollection of Draymond.
Now, no, you probably know the number, but what is higher? The number of career triple doubles that Steph Curry has, or the career number of ejections Draymond Green has?
Well, you just gave me 1.58 per year over a dozen years. I think Draymond has been ejected more than Steph has registered a triple-double.
That is correct. 19 flagrant fouls. 19 ejections to 13 triple-doubles in the playoff and regular season.
Closer than I thought.
That's all I had. It was so fresh. I told you. I was just Steph versus Dre.
Oh, that's a good one. Way to be topical. Way to just and give me some Warriors questions I have a chance to get right. All right. I got like a real grab bag of things here. Do you have anything else you'd like to get to, or should I just kind of dive in?
I have 2 blocks of word association and then a themed question. So why don't you want to do word association that I got for you first?
Sure. I also have 2 blocks that I can return the favor when you're done.
Dope. I guess it would help if I had my word association pulled up. Okay. Ready?
Ready.
Block 1. Hideous jersey.
A lot of the Brooklyn Nets looks have been pretty hideous. They've had some weird ones. I don't like them. I don't know why. You know why that came to mind? Because I was looking for Lonnie Walker photos to use in an article today, and he had that weird one on. That's why
I like that jersey this year.
Do you?
Yeah, the first one. This is recency bias. The first ones that came to mind were the Lakers and Warriors City Edition unis, or whatever they're called.
There's got to be a better answer. What's just a total dog shit jersey out there?
How about those orange Warriors ones?
The old orange Warriors ones with the lightning bolt. Yeah, those are awful. Well, if we're gonna go back to like the mid 90s, there's a lot to choose from there.
You know what the worst jerseys of all time are? The sleeves.
Oh, right, the sleeves. Gosh, what I forgot about the sleeves. How many years did that last? I can't remember now. Was it like 3?
It was 1. It was like the one.
It was only 1.
I think it was the one. They did it on. It was 4 because they wore them on Christmas. Yeah. You saw them wear it. I think LeBron James won the finals in sleeves, right? Or no, it wasn't. Maybe he wasn't wearing, but like, it was the 1 year, I'm pretty sure.
Oh man, if it was only 1, it seemed longer. It seemed like the sleeves persisted for longer than a year. Yeah, those weren't a great look. Remember the whole deal was I think this was the real thing, or maybe I just like cynically assumed it. We want to sell more jerseys, and people not everybody's going to wear a tank top. So if we put sleeves on this thing, we're going to sell more jerseys to people that just want to wear normal shirts. Was that a thing?
I Googled some of them. I'm going to throw one up on the screen. This one's bad.
Oh, that's a tough look.
That Wizards gold and black one was hideous.
So didn't the Wizards? Yeah, the Wizards also did like a Pistons blue, right? Like remember, like everyone kind of went with like that light blue for a while. The Wizards have had some bad ones. Although their pink like cherry blossom ones, they've had. Oh, that Cavs one, that's rough. Mark Price.
Oh, these were the Spurs military appreciation night ones.
Spurs, yeah, that's bad.
Oh, I didn't even know these Mavericks ones existed.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that.
Grant, I can see my reflection right now just from the photo.
But it's Nash.
Oh, those are bad. The Kings gold with purple and white accents.
It's such a huge risk if you go with just some random color that's got nothing to do with there's nothing wrong with that jersey. That's a sick jersey.
The short, give me the short shorts. There was a couple others on this list. SI did it. I don't hate these the ones that were green and blue with the Mavs. I don't hate. I mean, it's not
like the old script. Nothing wrong with that.
I didn't have a problem with these.
I don't like that was So the problem with the we're looking at the Warriors jerseys and like their 95 or 96 rebrand. Oh, the problem with those
That, like,
Warriors jerseys was they replaced what was an awesome like classic blue and gold jersey. They didn't need to. That was a refresh that didn't need to happen. And then of course they've gone back to their old color scheme for the most part. That was one word association. What else?
yeah, that was we got incredible jersey.
What is an incredible jersey? You know what? I liked Indy's IST jerseys. I thought like the kind of the graffiti inspired, like on the side, and almost looked like spray paint. I think I kind of like those first come to mind. I like a lot of the classic ones, just like the basic Boston jersey. I like the Warriors City Edition last year with like the black with the gold rose thing on it. That was cool.
I love the old school Piston teal jerseys.
Yeah, one of the few teal jerseys done right.
Oh, go ahead. What'd you say?
I was gonna say one of the few teal jerseys done right.
The purple Raptors jersey that had the screaming, raging raptor on it.
Yeah, those are like the original, like the cartoon looking thing.
The Jazz jerseys that have like the mountain backdrop have always been really nice.
I mean, this is everyone kind of said this. The Miami Vice jerseys, I kind of like the pink and blue. Those I kind of like those ones.
Do you know which ones I liked that other people very much did not? I'm not going to put it up on the screen now. I'm putting another one up on. Those Mavs jerseys where it was like the font was kind of cartoonish. These Bucks jerseys go pretty hard.
Oh man. That's such a 90s look, those Bucks jerseys with like the giant deer. They did not. That's Glenn Robinson is absolutely who you associate with that. What about the classic Timberwolves jerseys? The Timberwolves have had some good looks.
Yeah, I liked when they did the lime green. I'm sure the Timberwolves one had to come up here. Oh yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that font goes hard.
Yeah, whatever you picture Kevin Garnett in, when you think of Kevin Garnett on the Wolves, like that jersey is sick. Also,
I was going to say the Vancouver Grizzlies jerseys.
The Denver ones with the rainbow, where you just scrolled past, they were blue ones. Those are pretty sick.
So this is the Vancouver one. I'm talking the Grizzlies, Vancouver Grizzlies. I love those. Denver, you said I scrolled down. It was there.
Right there.
Why am I missing? Oh, that's a shop. I'm not going to promote Dick's Sporting Goods on this, but yeah, you're right about that. I need to find the Mavs City Edition jerseys that I'm talking about that no one liked. And I thought these. Well, that's a terrible. Is there a better? Here we go.
Oh yeah, that's another like graffiti. There's I don't know who that is standing in front of the wall. Yeah, those aren't bad.
That's KP. I like those. And then do you know which ones? It's not that I hate them. This year's Clippers City Edition jerseys. Do you know what they look like without having? They're right. Well, now they're on the screen.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what they remind me of? I can't. The font. Do you remember the old school Microsoft Windows and the paperclip dude that pops up? I don't know why these make me think of that.
Because the guy that probably invented that paperclip guy owns the Clippers. Like maybe
that's why. Like, it's just like the eyes on the paperclip look like the font to me.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I liked what do you think about like the old English font Clippers jerseys? Were those the City Edition last year? The black and white with like the old English white writing on it. They weren't.
I don't remember which
one. I feel like those were divisive.
Yeah, okay. I didn't hate them. I didn't love them either. They did have one that there was I don't know if they wore it, but there was one with like rainbow accent on them that actually didn't look too bad. Am I still sharing that screen that's up there? No, I didn't put here. Like, I don't know if you could see the rainbow accent. Let me see if there's this one right here.
Like the left arm sleeve hole is a different color than the. Oh yeah. Like it's like the little background rainbow around the lettering. Yeah, those are okay. I don't hate those.
All right,
let's need a lot of jerseys.
Underrated jersey.
Oh, geez, all we've done is talk about jerseys. Okay, what about the? I'll give you two. Modern the Wolves like alternate this year that is like has a fading effect as you go up from like shorts to the top where it's like white at the top but it fades down to blue. I like those, and then I like think of the like Nick Van Exel Nuggets, which is like blue and then like burnt orange and yellow, and then it's got like I think that might be it. But I like those. The ones before they went to like I like those Wolves jerseys.
Those are I don't hate them. I'm surprised you call those underrated. I do think when I think of underrated, the ones that spring to mind, do you remember the Timberwolves like lime green one?
Oh, that look like the Seahawks, basically. Yeah, I like those.
I thought those, and the other one, and this is it's in the background of my
I was
screen.
gonna say you're gonna say the St. Patrick's Day Knicks jerseys, aren't you?
Come on, these jerseys are sick.
You don't get a lot of green and orange combos.
I wish did I throw them out? I custom made Nikes when I was younger because you could do it on like the Nike ID.
You can
that
still
matched the orange and green of the Knicks jersey.
do that.
That's how hard those jerseys went.
I mean, there's one right behind you. Is that that's Gallinari, right? Behind
Hell
you
yeah,
there?
it's Gallinari. Who else would it be?
I don't know. Dennis
Maybe
Jr.,
Chris Boucher if you ever played for the Knicks, but
maybe. All right, moving on.
So this shouldn't be oversized shorts.
There's so many guys you think of. I want to nail this one. Actually, I think of LeBron. Because when he first came in the league, had some big shorts. Everybody had really big shorts though. Like I'm trying to think who else. Does anyone come to mind for you? That's such a thing of that era though.
TJ Ford, Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Oh, that photo of I think it's AI and J.R. Smith like playing pool as members of the Nuggets. Have you ever seen it?
Just have giant shorts.
I can pull it up. And maybe Allen Iverson's not in it, but they're both wearing like these massive. Oh no, here it is. Like just it's so ridiculous.
Like Jenko shorts.
All right, sharing this.
You know what Jenko is? Was Jenko a thing in New York?
Yeah. Oh, it was a thing.
Yeah. Look at those shorts. Those are like pants, man.
Like, yeah, look at how low they're just so baggy.
That's clearly like a media day thing too. Like they're doing that on purpose. That's never. Yeah. You know what? Apropos of this, longer shorts are coming back. We were at peak shorts was like a year and a half ago, maybe 2. Some guys still go with the really short ones now, but I think you're seeing like Brooke Lopez, the shorts are past the knees now, man. It's coming. The longer shorts are making a little bit of a comeback. We may never see the Iverson J.R. Smith short length again, though. You're
pretty clairvoyant. The final one of this block was short shorts.
As I was saying short shorts, I thought of Jordan Poole because Jordan Poole may still have short shorts, but he really went short. Also, remember, wasn't there like a weekend Lakers game like recently in which they were like, it's throwback night. Let's wear shorts and jerseys from the 80s or whatever. And I think they changed the shorts at halftime because all the players were like, this is ridiculous. Do you remember that?
No.
Not that long ago. So I'm sure someone can look that up.
I obviously think of like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson are the first names that come to mind.
Yeah.
There were also these, I can't remember how many years ago, and I can't find it. I'll try and say Grizzly. There's like a Grizzly shorts that looked like aggressively short.
I mean, I think it might have been more in college but like 5 years ago, I distinctly remember saying to several people, like, of all the trends to come back, like cyclically, I did not have short shorts on my bingo card, but they really did. They really did for a while there.
Okay, this final block, I don't think is going to take you as long. Scoop layup.
Oh man, Donovan Mitchell.
It's a good one. Best in-game dunker.
Oh man, I mean Vince Carter. If it's word association, I have to say Vince Carter. I don't know who else you could mention.
Windmill. Vince Carter.
Could be Vince Carter again. I feel like we should go a different direction there. How about Stromile Swift?
Holy fuck!
I feel like he had some windmills in there. Stromile Swift had one of the best dunks of like the last 30 years, where he it's a tip dunk, I think, and he takes it down like to his waist and puts it back in. I'm sure it's probably in standard definition somewhere, but you could find it.
Bounce pass.
Steve Nash.
Him, Magic Johnson, J Kidd, I think would be the names that should first come. And finally, Butterfingers.
I feel like I really want to get this one right. I mean, James Wiseman.
That's the name that I was like, he's going to pick James Wiseman.
He just can't catch the basketball. Whether it's thrown to him, whether it's a rebound, he couldn't catch it. Oh man. All right, I got some for you, and I may skip a couple because we might have some overlap, which is terrifying that we separately did word
Please tell me
association.
Butterfingers are on there.
No, no. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Corner three.
Oh God. Ray Allen.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Great answer. I was thinking PJ Tucker, but Ray Allen is clearly the answer there.
You have to actually take the corner three, not just
Yeah.
be.
Well, PJ Tucker is in the corner. It's
Yeah.
just a lot. Darren Williams.
Short prime.
Yeah.
Underrated. Hates Jerry Sloan. CP3. Remember the debate? Is it Darren Williams or CP3 is the best point guard in the league?
I
Wild.
mean, not only at the draft, but like for a couple years.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, because I think Williams probably, this is probably when we were a little dumber. But like, I think Williams had the bigger score. I'm sure he had the bigger scoring numbers.
Oh, yeah.
And like, it was I wonder if we look back at that, should it have been a debate? Like, I bet if you had the catch all metrics and all the
Yeah.
on-off stuff, like Paul was just way better, but we were stupid. Good answer. All right. The next one is going to be best uniforms right now, which I guess you can do, but
right now, it's the Pacers in-season tournament city edition ones. I think are the best ones.
I'm into it. All right. So this is more complicated than word association, but just barely. Fox or Halliburton?
Halliburton.
Isn't that a hard one?
Oh my God.
I think it's Halliburton. But I mean, De'Aaron Fox is really good and has already made an All-NBA team and probably will do it again. I just think, isn't Halliburton the guy that's like, he's transformative and Fox is really, really great, but he doesn't quite rise to the level of transformative unless, I mean, you could credit him with
the way he's defending this season.
Hey.
I don't know. I hate you for giving me that.
Sorry.
Imagine if they were teammates.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be weird? Well, actually, like, we're not getting this version of either of these guys as teammates, right? Like, it's just not possible. Maybe you get this good of a version of Fox, but I don't think you could have Halliburton doing this with another.
No, he's become too central. Yeah, for sure.
Favorite mascot?
Oh, Stuff the Magic Dragon.
Great name, right? Just right off the bat.
That's the branding is part of it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
and also just like him being under Aaron Gordon. Under that like iconic dunk from the dunk contest.
Yeah.
Just like that tattooed to memory.
I do like the Spurs coyote. Just because the eyes are so weird.
He reminds me of Crash Bandicoot.
Yes, it's like a dead ringer for Crash Bandicoot. The inflatable Toronto Raptors mascot that like hops around. I like that one.
Swallows people, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for the inflatable mascot. Those are always good.
Which game was I watching? It was Washington. Who did they lose to the other night? Because Washington, New Orleans, Zion didn't play. I don't understand what happened at halftime. I wasn't paying attention. You and I get like the league feed, and there was a mascot battle. And like, okay, it's in Washington, so you have Washington's there, and then the Capitals from the NHL is there. But like, the Houston Texans mascot was there, and it was just like there was all these other random. I was like, what? I don't. My wife asked me about it. I was like, honestly, I have no fucking clue what's happening right now. Like, my head was down working on something, but I still don't know if anyone was watching that game. Why was the Houston Texans like? Are the Texans playing the Commanders or something?
Is there like a supply closet in the arena somewhere where they're just like, look at all these? What can we do with these?
No, look, this week it says the Texans are in Tennessee. So I'm like, I don't know what was going on.
I mean, the cost alone of flying up all these people to be.
It was honestly one of the most, and you know how random halftime shows can be.
Yeah. Actually, I was having the conversation about halftime shows the other day. Like, it seems like there's like 20 different acts now that just cycle through arenas. Like, you get the guys throwing around those yo-yos on the strings with like the LED lights on them. You get the guy with the little dog that crawls around on him while he balances upside down. You get the quick change. You get Red Panda. I don't know if Red Panda is still going, but
you know who I haven't seen this year? I don't know his name because I try not to pay. When the games aren't on, I'm trying to get work done. Like when it's not live play. The guy who did the chairs was all over the place.
Like,
the past few seasons
on the chairs.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him either. But there's not. I think maybe the NBA is like, we need to like streamline this process. Let's contract with 20 different acts, and they just fly around to arenas. Like, we know they'll work. Like, I think it's been very much.
And they've had to be like, I think they realized that weird plays over nostalgia because you can't just have like Ja Rule in Milwaukee doing the halftime show. It just doesn't work out.
I mean, you could. He's probably not busy, but not everybody's.
Yo, do you not remember that? The Ja Rule?
Every
meme?
time I see like a musical, because there still are some of those, like a musical act, and it, like at halftime, it's so sad, man. Nobody's in the seats. Like they're just like shuffling around out there. It's like a rough look.
I'm gonna. Oh, there's like a voiceover. I want you to. I want to find the clip of the Ja Rule thing and have you.
What year are we talking about here?
This was from. So I'm looking on Twitter. That was 2019.
Okay.
Let me throw this up on the screen. And hopefully you'll be able to hear it. So Ja Rule in Milwaukee, just absolutely hysterical.
But my album came out in 99, so I guess that counts. Sanchez, we ready?
Here it comes.
I'm loading up. They give me time to load up. Are we ready?
We're not ready.
I guess not.
I don't think anyone. This is gonna be our least downloaded, watched episode ever because we're just like.
I mean, that was sad from the jump because it was dead silent. It's dead silent. Oh man. All right. Okay, here we go.
You know what? The movie I think of. Do you remember the movie he was in? Was it Cradle to the Grave? He was also in a Fast and Furious movie, but I used to love Cradle to the Grave. I think that's the one. It was like him and DMX, if I'm not mistaken.
DMX was definitely in Cradle to the Grave. That is correct. Oh my god! All right, okay. Next set
from Halliburton.
I don't know. Halftime act. Oh, favorite mascot, and then we're talking about the mascot fight.
And we wound up at Ja Rule in Cradle to the Grave. Shout out us.
Just a lot of breadth of conversation. All right, kicked ball.
Jokic.
Yep, that's the only. I mean, he's weaponized it. He's weaponized. Yeah. Name 3 great Tonys.
Great, like they had to be, like just played in like 3 great Tonys, like in any sport in the NBA. Like what?
Well, first of all, it's word association. There are no questions allowed. I shouldn't have said great. Give me 3 NBA Tonys. How about
Tony Allen?
Oh, good one.
Anthony Mason. People called him Tony. I feel like that shouldn't count. Oh my God. How many Tonys have you even played in the league?
I'm thinking I can think of 2 more. There's a Spurs Tony. You got to get that one.
Oh my God. Tony Parker. Yeah, absolutely.
There's like a Tony Douglas. Who might
oh
have
my God, the Knicks guy. Yeah, Tony Douglas.
I mean, like Antonio McDyess. We get to do.
Well, I mean, then I want Anthony Mason to count.
Yeah, you can have Anthony Mason. Anthony. Yeah, that's a Tony. All right.
Someone named Andrew Toney apparently played in the NBA.
Tony, yeah. Ready for the next one?
Tony played in the G League.
Who?
Audice Tony.
Okay. Now you're just making names up. That's not in the spirit of the game. Scoot Henderson.
Oh my God. We forgot. Like Tony Delk, Tony Snell, Tony Kukoc.
Ooh, that's a debatable Tony. That's Toni. I don't know about that one.
All right, fine. But all right, sorry. Please carry on.
All right, there's no transition here. Scoot Henderson.
Fast motherfucker.
I was gonna go with like kind of bummed because I really thought. I mean, it's been injury, but like,
yeah, give him a minute.
Yeah,
it was against the. First of all, the Blazers just like hang around in these games. They have no business being in. I love it. The full strength Blazers are fun, and they're also getting like Dwap Reith is just playing these minutes, and you could. I tweeted this the other day. When you watch him in space, you can hear him thinking. Doesn't always end well, but you could hear him thinking. Like Scoot Henderson hit this like step back against the Clippers defense. Like he's gonna be really good. You need to chill over here, Gilbert Arenas. Scoot Henderson's gonna be just fine.
Okay, good. Because I just, I do this. I'm like, Scoot Henderson is gonna be the best point guard prospect since whatever. And then when he's not immediately that, I'm like, I don't know anything anymore.
You have shifted because you were saying Scoot Henderson's gonna be on my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Versus now, I'm kind of bummed. Scoot Henderson's played like.
I'm bummed because I thought that he was gonna be so great, and then he wasn't immediately. What? I don't want to have to wait for anything ever. I want him to be
You can at
an
least
all
be
NBA
comforted by
player.
knowing that Shaden Sharp exists. And he's just like, he's turned into the type of player where you can't look down at your screen or at your dog to see what they're chewing on, and because he'll just do something.
You know what I'm not excited for is I'm not sure how many months away we are, but when we start saying like, yeah, but he's not really much of a defender, and I don't know if you can build, like, we're definitely not you and I necessarily, but like Shaden Sharp is so good and so dynamic, and that's going to be so well understood that we'll just start poking holes pretty soon. Like we're almost
He seems like he might end up being like the quintessential number 2 or 2.5 guy, which is fucking great.
Right. Yeah. No, that's awesome. And like a super exciting version of that player because he's just going to
I think he showed more. He can't when he's playing offenses at warp speed, it doesn't look good defensively for him, but like he can make plays when you give him time to set up. And like that's a good stepping stone as a sophomore.
Yeah. I think like I don't know how valuable like a 3-level scorer or like that skill set, but like I like his ability to create shots like from everywhere. Like even in between stuff is like I didn't think that was going to be part of the package, but it seems pretty easy for him.
And he can work off the ball. Like it's not just him getting putbacks. Like this is someone who can move around off the ball too.
Yeah. 2 more here in this this block. Headband.
This isn't going to make any sense, but Devin Booker, I haven't gotten used to it whenever he's wearing his headband. I think he's been wearing it a lot lately.
Yeah. So, I wonder how guys decide. Like I'm gonna do the headband for a couple weeks.
Who do you wish, or have you seen wear a headband and stop that you wish kind of still wore a headband?
Ooh. Well, I mean, my answer was going to be Carmelo. That's the first headband person I think of. So who stopped wearing the headband? I mean, LeBron was a headband guy for a long time.
I wish we could have seen Jordan in a headband. Did Michael Jordan ever wear a headband? Let's see.
I don't think so. No, almost nobody wore headbands. The headband had like a minute there where it was really kind of the LeBron time. Like J.R. Smith was a headband guy for a while. Josh Smith always was a headband guy. Trying to think who else. Didn't Birdman?
The Bulls, I guess, banned headbands at one point. Maybe that's why Jordan didn't have one. It looks like. You know what I was noticing? Who was playing in the black? Remember when they made LeBron take off the black mask and that looked fucking cool? Way back when?
No, like because he broke his nose or his face or something.
Yeah, they made him change. Did they make him change the mask? Everybody
gets to wear the black mask now. Like Jaylen Brown.
That aggravates me.
Kyrie's done the black mask. Who else has done the black mask?
He made the color switch in response to a request from the league office, which prefers the players to wear see-through masks. And I was just like, it didn't dawn on me until I was watching the other night, whoever was wearing a black mask. And I think Jaylen Brown has worn it, but it wasn't him.
Yeah.
I was just like, what the fuck? Why did LeBron have to change his?
It's like the default now. He was ahead of his time.
That made me angry though, is my point.
Last one. Josh Smith.
Adam Frommel.
Was he super high on Josh Smith or did he hate him?
It was both.
Oh right. It's always one after the other.
You got to run the gamut of emotions when it comes. Do you remember when the Pistons just decided to give him all that money? Their roster was just not built for it. Shout out Stan Van Gundy.
Yeah, that was fun. That's why we don't have head coaches and executives anymore. There's 2 separate jobs. That's all I got for stat padding. I got a few other things, but if you want to jump back in, go for it.
Yeah, so we have a theme here. Rookie stat records. So these all date back. There's obviously years that aren't captured in certain stats. But Grant, which NBA rookie holds the record for the most total points? Total points. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, or Shaquille O'Neal?
Total points. So we're going to need... Oh, man. When did Jordan break his foot? Second season. So it could be him.
He is, in fact, on this list, so it could be.
I'm never going to get tired of you letting me know that. It could be someone on this list.
My favorite one is when you're like, is it close at least? And I always say, well, yeah, but there's only one right answer.
2 or 3.
So you're just wrong.
I'm going to say, I just feel like I might reveal myself to be an idiot here. I'm going to say Kareem because I think he won MVP as a rookie. And I don't know if that's true, but I'll say Kareem.
That is incorrect. I thought you were going to get this one. Wilt Chamberlain had 2,707 points, which is about 400 more on record than any other rookie. Kareem was second, 2361. Jordan was third at 2313. Shaq was not even close He is 1893. And by the way, they were only like within this group. Shaq wasn't even in like the top 4 overall.
That's got to be one of the first ones where if Wilt is on the list, you should just say Wilt, basically. And it was, but then like he like doesn't win a lot of these, but I should have just gone with my gut there. All right, I'm frazzled because I'm looking up to see if Kareem won MVP as a rookie, and I can't find it.
Which NBA rookie holds the record for most total rebounds? Wilt Chamberlain, Tim Duncan, Blake Griffin, or Shaquille O'Neal?
It better be Wilt Chamberlain, or I'm going to be mad.
By a lot, 1,941 rebounds. Which NBA? Oh, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was saying the numbers were so stupid back then. Go ahead.
Which NBA rookie holds the record for the most total assists? Mark Jackson, Chris Paul, Ben Simmons, or Trae Young?
I'm going to say Trae Young.
That is incorrect. Mark Jackson, 868. Ben Simmons, incredibly close at 861. Isn't that wild?
So what do you have? He averaged 10 assists as a rookie, Ben Simmons? Is that what you're telling me?
No, he played in 87 games. So
that's unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah, that was the one that like I feel like I should have known.
Yeah, you think that we would have like cited that several times.
Right. So I'll double check it live just in case you don't trust me, but I know Mark Jackson was 1. And let's see. So
Simmons averaged 8.2 assists in his rookie year, quote unquote, since he was not a rookie that second year.
That is a typo. Ben Simmons was at 661.
Okay, good.
Sorry. But he was still not the right answer.
I was still wrong. So
yes. So Mark Jackson, 868 was the leader.
Wow.
Which is just the second place guy. So because I have it up, Tim Hardaway was second at 6. So Mark Jackson at 868 as a rookie. The next closest guy is Tim Hardaway at 689.
Wow, what a rookie year.
That's bonkers. I mean, you're dealing with he was 22, but like that's still pretty young. 22 is young, right? Or is that
there went that man with all of his 10.6 per game as a rookie for the Knicks.
Okay. Which NBA rookie holds the record for most total steals? Dudley Bradley, Brevin Knight, Magic Johnson, or Michael Jordan? Really running the gamut of.
You said a name that I have not heard before. Dudley Bradley. Is that a real?
Does that guy have 2 first names?
Do I need to guess that just because why is it on here? Because I'll say Michael Jordan. He had some crazy block and steal numbers early in his career.
That is incorrect. It was Dudley Bradley. I included Brevin Knight to be like, because he was in the top 10, I think.
Yeah.
But so Dudley Bradley, 211. And then Michael Jordan had 196. That's 4th most all time, tied with Brevin Knight.
It's pretty hard to come up with a name that I'm sure you'd never heard of Dudley Bradley. I'm sure I've never heard of Dudley Bradley. That both of us just, that's amazing. Wow. He had a lot of steals throughout his career, this mystery Dudley Bradley person.
Look, see, this show is maybe not educational for the listeners, but for us, we're learning that players existed. Okay. Which NBA rookie holds the record for the most total blocks? Manute Bol, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, or David Robinson?
Oh, man, those are good. I just don't know if Bol played enough as a rookie, but I'm sure per game his numbers were off the charts. I will say Hakeem, just because any defensive thing, you can't be far off. I'm within the top 4 if I'm not right. I say Hakeem.
Well, then you're wrong twice.
Oh,
Hakeem was 6th with 220. Manute Bol.
I mean, of the options you gave me, I was within 4.
Yeah. So Manute Bol, 397 blocks. The next closest is David Robinson at 319.
God, so I have a lot of instances of not trusting my first instinct here. You've really got me spun out.
If it's any consolation, I think you get this one.
Oh, great. Okay.
Which NBA rookie holds the record for most total made 3-pointers? Sadiq Bey, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, or Keegan Murray?
Oh, I think that's Keegan Murray.
Correct. 206 made threes. Donovan Mitchell is second at 187. Lillard is third all time at 185, and Sadiq Bey is fourth all time at 175. I put the top 4 in there just because I was like, these are names that he could all be like, yeah, all right, I get it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what a season by Keegan Murray. I mean, it's partly the era, but like still, that's kind of amazing.
Now, I'm not sure if you're going to get these. What do I have? 2 left? Yes. Which NBA rookie holds the record for the most total field goal attempts? So shot attempts. Allen Iverson, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or Bernard King?
I'm just going to go with my gut and say Iverson.
That is incorrect. Bernard King, 1,665 shot attempts as a rookie.
Get him up, Bernard King. That's a lot of shots.
Yeah, and it was markedly more, I believe. I should sort it really quickly to make sure, since I didn't have this one pulled up. It was like way more than anybody else. I think Iverson was second. Oh no, Michael Jordan had 1625. He was fairly close. Ron Harper third, by the way. Shout out Ron Harper.
Love Ron Harper. Yeah, Bernard King never took more shots in a season than he did as a rookie. That's amazing.
Shout out.
Or scored more points. Oh, he did 1 year.
So, okay, I actually have 2 more left. This one is kind of just funny. Which NBA rookie holds the record for the most total turnovers? Steve Francis, Ron Harper, Allen Iverson, or Trae Young?
Oh man, I'll say I gotta go with Steve Francis.
That is incorrect. It is Ron Harper at 345, just edged out Allen Iverson at 337.
What was Ron Harper getting up to? Was this Clippers Ron Harper? Cavs Ron Harper.
Yeah, Cavs Ron Harper.
That's
3,064 minutes he played that year. Holy
4.2 per game. That's crazy. To think that he became like a real steadying influence on those championship Bulls teams. It's just like, we could trust Ron Harper to just do the right thing. Not at first.
Okay, final one. Which NBA rookie holds the record for the most personal fouls in a single season? Is it Steve Johnson, Tom Chambers, Ralph Sampson, or Hakeem Olajuwon?
I'm going to double down on my incorrect guess from earlier and say Hakeem Olajuwon.
That is incorrect. It's Steve Johnson. 372 personal fouls across 78 games. You want to know what's even more impressive? He did 372 fouls in 1,740 minutes. Do you know what that works out to per 36?
Oh, is it like Mitchell Robinson 3 years ago territory?
7.7 fouls per 36 minutes.
Pretty good. Hey, he's very active, Steve Johnson. Say what you want about Steve Johnson. He doesn't give up easy shots. Very active out there. That's two people that I haven't ever heard of, by the way. Steve Johnson and Dudley Bradley so far.
That is it from me, by the way. I don't know if you have more. If you want to take us out of here, let me know.
Let's see. Which of these do I want to? Okay. Dan, who has the most consecutive 50-point games other than Wilt Chamberlain? Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, or Antoine Jameson?
The most consecutive 50-point games. I'm just going to say Michael Jordan.
Close. Michael Jordan has 3. Kobe Bryant has 4. He's the answer. He has
wow.
All right. I'll give you 4 choices. You got to name the active player with that actually has one set of consecutive 50-point games. Luka, James Harden, Jason Tatum, or Steph Curry. Which of those has consecutive 50-point games?
So they've had at least 2 straight 50-point games.
Correct.
Luka, Steph, Harden,
Tatum.
I honestly have no idea. I'm going to say James Harden.
Correct. He's on that list when you do Basketball Reference. He's got several like 2. He's back to back that a few times. All right. Same question. Which active player has consecutive 50-point games? Devin Booker, Joel Embiid, Kyrie Irving, or Kevin Durant?
Why is this so fucking hard? I'm going to say not Kevin Durant.
Correct. Not Kevin Durant.
Hell yeah. Which leaves me with
You got a 1 in 3 shot now. I didn't know we could do this. I didn't know we could rule guys out.
who? Devin Booker,
Booker, Embiid, or Kyrie.
Embiid.
It's Booker.
Damn it.
All
It's
right.
always Booker.
It's always Booker.
Yeah.
It's always Booker. All right. Same question. Which of these active players has consecutive 50-point games? Ja Morant, Donovan Mitchell, Dame Lillard, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Donovan Mitchell, Shai, Dame Lillard.
Ja.
It is not Ja.
Correct.
It is, what are the options again? Dame, Shai,
And
Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
Mitchell.
It's Dame. Last one, because there turns out there have not been a lot of consecutive 50-point games among active players. Who's had consecutive 50 spots? Clay, Russ Westbrook, Bradley Beal, or Giannis?
Clay, Giannis, Russell Westbrook, or Beal? Clay, Giannis, Russell. I'm going to say Russell Westbrook.
It's Beal.
Damn it. That's hard.
It is hard because every single one of those guys, you could talk yourself into like, yeah, I remember when they did that. Except it's just the Beal one. I do like have a vague recollection of.
No, that was if I would have done I'm not picking this guy, it would have been Beal.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, that's why he's a weird outlier because you don't think of him. Although he did average like over 30 at least once, right? All right, let's see. I have some general silliness for you. Dan, would you rather be involved in a third quarter tie-up with Draymond Green or guard SGA wearing roller skates?
Oh, I'd rather be involved in a third quarter tie-up with Draymond Green because there's a chance that I end up helping my team as a result because he will get ejected and suspended.
Yeah, you're shit out of luck on roller skates. You're shit out of luck with shoes on against SGA. So good choice. Dan, would you rather try to hold back an enraged Giannis seeking a game ball or be the person he thinks has the game ball?
Ooh.
Think about it.
I'd rather hold him back because he's not actively trying to hurt the person who's even if you're unsuccessful, the person who has the game ball stands to get hurt.
See, it's a total risk analysis. I'm going the other way because I think trying to hold him back, like he's going to be flailing. He's already like, you could really, get a shoulder popped out, break some fingers trying to grab him. You're not going to be able to, you can't hold that guy back. Like he's an enormous person and is a great if he thinks you have the game ball, there's a chance that he's actually not going to kill you. Like because he'll realize I can't just kill this person. And also you could be like, put your hands up and say, I don't have it. And maybe he'll just go to the next
Or you could just drop it, run away, and he'll take
a ball, throw it one way and run the other. A lot of options. I feel like you're going to get hurt trying to hold him back. All right. Let's see. Last one. What other sport do you think Nikola Jokic would be best at? Darts, ping pong, volleyball, or water polo?
Water polo.
I think that's like there's kind of not a wrong answer, but
just because his precision and just like that is going to involve he's in fantastic shape, but of all the ones you named, aside from darts, that's going to involve the least amount of cardio and his size will also help him in water polo, where in darts it could either go. And the fact that he's going up against defenders in water polo, technically,
plus he does the water polo throw where you're like cupping it back and forth just in basketball. I am intrigued about ping pong though, because he would just be so like loose and like hitting it off the standing on the wrong leg.
Too long because he's so big and long that it would take him too long to like get his paddle motions like during these.
Yeah, I think, it'd be complicated, but I bet too, he would have the ability to like anticipate where you were going to move and hit it somewhere else. Like he would just understand where you're going to be.
He'd have the most wicked serve.
Oh, yeah. It'd be so deceptive. Everything he would do as a ping pong player would be like it would never be spinning the direction you thought it would be. He would be pretty brutal there. Do I have any? I got some other dumb bullshit. How about this? This is called Just Wondering. Would Yao be better or worse in today's game?
Ooh. I don't know. I think he would be worse just because it would be easier to exploit him on the defensive end because he just wasn't like this. Yeah.
I think that's right. Like you think of Brook Lopez because you think of a lumbering guy, but
he's
like
so big that it's like for him to drop down into a stance would take like 8 years.
Yeah, and Lopez is really just the exception for someone that big, like surviving in the modern game. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you could envision a version of Yao that's shooting like 8 threes a game. But the defense, you're right. I think it is the defense. I think that's right. Okay, just wondering, what about Shaq? Better or worse in today's game?
I think it depends on which version of Shaq.
Just
take prime. He'd honestly be worse because like no offense is run the way that he was used to, and like does he have the ability to adapt as a high screener and roller, or let alone a shooter? And his foul shooting becomes more of a liability because of what we know about the hacker rules.
And the ways that you can double him anywhere on the floor, and way you can camp guy, like I think it's just you can zone up more if you want to, where there's just like 4 bodies around him.
Orlando Magic Shaq would be interesting in today's
game. The most mobile version of Shaq, because that guy could just, he'd be kind of like he'd be a bigger Giannis on the roll, which would just like you couldn't do anything with that. But
would
I don't
he have like the handle of Giannis or a slimmer Zion though. It's like I don't
think so. I think you'd be hard pressed to find like the really big physical center that would be better off today. I think like someone like Olajuwon probably, or like David Robinson, like the really hyper athletic mobile guys.
You mean James Wiseman 1.0, David Robinson,
Wiseman 1.0. Yeah, the James Wiseman's like the blueprint for James Wiseman basically. Would do really well today. That's all I got. Unless you got anything else, we can.
Are you ready to? No, please take us out of here.
Everybody, thank you as always. As Dan mentioned at the top, please rate, please review, please subscribe, give us 5 stars, write positive things. Join our Discord. Follow us on our socials at Hardwood Knocks on Twitter and TikTok, at Hardwood_Knocks on Instagram. Buy the merch. Everything I've suggested, Dan is sporting it right now. Everything I've suggested you can do. You can figure out how to do that. The links for all that stuff in the YouTube and podcast descriptions. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. Give a shout out like I'm about to the one and only Frank Ntilikina, and also an apology to Jared Allen.